Hi dear students, today I am going to discuss with you about the first lesson of 8th class, A Day in the Ashram, written by C.F. Andrews, one of the greatest English speaker, author, written this lesson, A Day in the Ashram. And C.F. Andrews, he reveals his experience while he stayed in the ashram. Shantiniketan was founded by Rabindranath Tagore. It's a school with a difference where students learn with great joy. Yes, C.F. Andrews, he came to Shantiniketana. He stayed some days there and he experienced about Shantiniketana and his experience and what things he has learnt in that school, how the students are learning education there, how the students are learning education with great joyfully. He saw that, he observed that, and he revealed that his experience when he spent some time in Shantiniketana. So, this whole lesson is about the Shantiniketana, who is founder founder of Rabindranath Tagore. See, let me explain this lesson. Words cannot picture to you the beauty of the Shantiniketana. We can't express by the words the beauty of the Shantiniketana. Means that much beautiful Shantiniketana is. We can't express in our sentences, in our words, beauty clearly about the about beauty of the Shantiniketana. Our own poet and teacher, whom we call Gurudeva, has named it his song, The Darling of Our Hearts. See, our own poet, and we call him Gurudeva, who is Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore has named it Darling of Our Hearts. Which is darling of our hearts? The Shantiniketana is darling of our hearts. The darling of our hearts, and it is worthy of the name. Yes, the name worthy of also. The name is suitable name. Shantiniketana is really darling of our hearts. That much beautiful and loveliest place. That's why Rabindranath Tagore called darling of our hearts. All who visited the ashram, old and young alike, have felt its inner beauty growing more and more upon them. All who visited there, who visited young people, old people, middle aged people, students, teachers, whoever visit there, their inner beauty grow more and more about that. They felt very happy. They felt very great experience there. So they had a great joy in that place. Whoever met that place. Where? Shantiniketana. If I were described to you one day in ashram with the boys, that would perhaps the best bring home to you, its inner beauty. See, C.F. Andrews reveals that when he stayed in Shantiniketan, he lived one day there with the students and he expressed his views about the Shantiniketanam. One day in the ashram with the boys, the would perhaps best bring to you its inner beauty. And he learned, he saw, and he experienced, and he enjoyed the inner beauty of the Shantiniketana. And he is going to tell, describing inner beauty of the Shantiniketana. Long before sunrise, like the birds in our own almaki groves, our boys are awake. Long before sunrise, birds awake and they started making sound, chirping sound. Then our boys stood up, our boys awakened. So very long before sunrise, very early in the morning, birds are rise, then boys also stood. The, the choristers are the first to rise and they go around the ashram singing their morning hymn. Choristers. The choristers means who are devotees of the God. The devotees of the God, they are first riser in that place, and they start their morning hymn. Morning hymn means the song which is dedicated to God, the song which is belongs to the God. That kind of songs they used to sing, and they round the ashram singing that hymn, and they are rounding the ashram at the morning, very early morning. Who are the choristers? And you can hear the voice of the distances drawing nearer and nearer. Then the sound dies away as the choir passes on to another part of the ashram. Then again it comes nearer and nearer. Yes. C.F. Andrews reveals about the choristers, especially particularly in this paragraph. This paragraph is describing about the morning hymn of the choristers. That's a very beautiful. They were singing their morning hymn, and they were rounding the whole ashram. When they were singing and go to that side, that part of the ashram, the sound were going to fade away. Sound disappeared. Sound going to die. When they came to this part of the ashram, again sound come nearer and nearer and nearer. That's looking very beautiful. That's hearing very beautiful. C.F. Andrews tells about it. This and the beauty of the sound in the silent morning air and the sense of the joy, reverence which is brings give peace to the soul. In the morning, silent morning, tender morning, soft morning, very silent time, when the choristers started singing their morning hymn, they brings very beautiful joy and great joy. Our soul become very happy when we listen, when we heard that song early in the morning. C.F. Andrews reveals about this. After an interval, each boy takes his asan, his square of carpet, into the fields and sit on it meditate on its own place alone. After interval, all the students took their carpets and they started meditating. So meditation is one of the great education is there in the ashram. Later on, before the school work begins, all the boys stand together in the shade of the trees and they sing their morning hymn. Before school work begin, all the students gathered under a tree, shade of the tree, and they started their prayer. What kind of prayer was? That is the hymn. Hymn they used to sing their morning hymn prayer. Then they involve in their work. Till about 10:30, the work of school goes on. We have no classrooms. The boys sit with their teachers in open air under the trees. See, when the students came to learn, there is no schools, there is no classrooms, and there is no board that much systematically. But they were sitting systematically with their groups under the tree. There is no classroom. This kind of education is very great. And they were learning education with the nature, in the nature. This is very important. There are no larger classes. A group of 8 or 10 boys are seated around the teacher, asking him questions. Very few books are used. See, 8 to 10 students, this is the group, and one teacher belongs to that group. 8 to 10 students sit around the teacher and they are asking questions. Teacher explaining about them, and teacher teaches lessons, telling stories, and students learn asking questions, listening. So conversation is going on there. This is the kind of education there happening in ashram. A few books are only used there. A great part is carried on through conversation. The boys soon learn to open out all difficulties to their teachers, and the teachers get keenly interested in boys' questions and answers. Only few books are used there. Students are going to ask questions, teacher are going to explain them. This is the education is going by conversation between the students and teachers. Students also very interestingly asking questions. Teachers also very keenly answering all the questions. This kind of education is very important, and students are very soon learning all the difficulties in that such education. When they are living, when they are learning with the nature, when they are learning in the nature, they are going to learn every difficulties very soon. So this is living education. Such living education can never be dull. Yes, this kind of living education. What kind of living education? Sitting in the nature, sitting under the tree, sitting a group of the students and with the teacher, asking questions, and the education is going by the conversation in open area, particularly in open area, tender air. This is very great education. This kind of education never become dull. Means every students can learn, every students can understand every difficulties when they are going to learn in the nature. So here are some questions. Shivan, answer the following questions and share your response with your partner. First question is, who named school Shantiniketana? Who named the school Shantiniketana? Rabindranath Tagore. Answer is, when does the Shantiniketana begin? When does the day begin in Shantiniketana? Day began in Shantiniketana very early in the morning, long before sunrise. The answer is, day began in Shantiniketana long before sunrise. Means very